Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at the most disappointing times an artist or band performed on the Saturday Night Live stage. Appearances marred by non-musical controversy, a la Sinead O'Connor, will be saved for another day. Number 25. The Rolling Stones. The band that needs no introduction has only performed once on SNL on the night of October 7th, 1978. They did 3 songs: Shattered, Beast of Burden, and Respectable. Shattered went off well, but the wheels started coming off with Beast of Burden. Mick Jagger tried to add some snap to the show with flamboyant movements and gestures, but they couldn't mask his horrible voice. We don't know what happened here, but his singing is ridiculously flat and raspy, like an untrained singer trying to do his best Mick Jagger impersonation. Maybe the cigarette that he is openly smoking on stage has something to do with it. Number 24. 21 Savage. Fans of SNL are sort of used to high-energy performances from the show's storied list of musical guests. After all, if one doesn't want to be there, a dozen other aspiring artists are waiting in the wings for their opportunity. G-Block, all we know is red rum, red rum, red rum, red rum, red rum. This is partially why this performance from 21 Savage was so depressing. The rapper barely seems awake during his sets, and the lower tier vibes are clearly on display. We hesitate to use the word disappointing here because 21 Savage holds an admittedly low bar, but yeah, this was bad.
Trust me, I'm taking it easy. I really want to get sneaky. You acting shy, but you freaky. I want a piece, no receipt.
Number 23. Ice Spice.
In the mirror, I'm doing my dance. I ain't packing on nobody's pants. He a rapper, but don't got a chance. Stuck in my way, so I'm loving my bands.
It's an old adage, but also one that rings true. Famous friends can only take a person so far, right? None other than Taylor Swift showed up on the SNL stage to help introduce her buddy Ice Spice's performance. This was probably the most memorable thing to report from this night, to be completely honest.
Looking at you, got my eyes wide, damn. Got my eyes wide. Looking at you, got my eyes wide, damn. So out of this world like sci-fi.
There really isn't a lot to grab onto creatively when it comes to the music of Ice Spice in the first place, but the lackluster sound mix and coquettish choreography didn't do much to elevate things.
It's our life, so baby, let's live it. Hate a super mad, we got them all living. Think about my future, got you all in it. Shooting for the stars, the sky has no limit.
Number 22. Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band. The music of Captain Beefheart, both with and without the Magic Band, has been a lot of things over the decades. It's served as outsider art at its best, and unlistenable trash at its worst. This performance from Saturday Night Live might have arguably been both, although you'd probably be hard-pressed to find any supportive audience reactions at the time. The thunderous silence that occurred when Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band mercifully brought their set to an end was an incredibly awkward SNL moment for the ages, although it possibly was not intended as such. Number 21. Kanye West and Lil Pump.
You're such a freaky girl, I love it. Boyfriend is a door, make love it.
The infamous Kanye West will probably never set foot upon an SNL stage again, but at least we have these terrible performances by which to remember his Yeeziness. West's public support for current US President Donald Trump had him in hot water with a lot of different people over the years. His appearance alongside Lil Pump on this night was particularly infamous, however.
Why you trying to act like you was speaking sparkling water before you came out here? She's such a freaky. I'm a real freak. I need a real freak. Yeah.
On one hand, the performance was bad and featured some strange costumes. On the other hand, Kanye West also went on a conspiratorial rant after the fact, one which effectively made him a persona non grata.
And the liberals bully you and tell you what you can and cannot wear. Actually, blacks weren't always Democrats.
Number 20, Katy Perry.
Swish, swish, bish. Another one in the basket.
Fans of a certain artist usually expect a performance on the SNL stage from that artist to, actually highlight that artist. Katy Perry's 2017 gig on Saturday Night Live was instead more notable for the antics of her supporting backup dancers than the California Girls singer.
You got bars? Let's go. Ready?
Swish, swish, bish.
It's meme-worthy, sure. There was certainly glitz and glamour all over the place. That said, there was actually very little in the way of anything that made Katy Perry the focus, and she instead played second and third fiddle to her own show. Number 19, Gunna. Who knows? Maybe there were far more important things going on in the mind of Gunna back when he appeared on the stage of SNL. Important things like, we don't know, maybe the fact that authorities were circling in and he was about to be arrested on racketeering charges.
Partners in a paddock in my piece. I'm pushing P. Cop new hammers for my P. We don't want no P. Got a spot, I call the spot. Jeffy P's. Drop the data, now we play. It's out of P.
It doesn't really matter at the end of the day, since Gunna's performances here weren't very great anyway. His sets on SNL were short and not so sweet, the sort of blink and you'll miss it forgettability that basically underlined Gunna's existence as an artist extraneous to need.
She banking on me on the bank. I smack her, she let it get spanked. I tackle her, let her wrestle. Young bachelor, we let her play.
Number 18, Brian Wilson. The night of November 27th, 1976, saw a number of legends on the SNL stage, including host Jodie Foster and musical guest Brian Wilson of Beach Boys fame.
Well, I'm going back this summer to Ohio.
Wilson was in a bad place at the time. He had recently become a recluse, was suffering from substance use disorder, and his wife was threatening to have him institutionalized. It resulted in a rather bizarre and borderline tragic appearance. Wilson's voice was clearly strained, and he struggled to hit the notes that his younger and healthier self put on record. His energy was also clearly lacking, and the show ended with a weirdly subdued performance of Good Vibrations inside a sandbox.
I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me the excitations.
Number 17, Carmen.
This is more than the typical kind of thing. Felt a Jones in my bones when you were touching me. Oh.
The novelty of one-time pop duo Carmen definitely seemed to fall off after their appearance on Saturday Night Live back in 2012. There's little that green or unprepared acts can do when faced with that level of intimacy on such a small stage.
A cheerio.
You either have it or you don't at that point, and Carmen definitely seemed to falter. Reviews of the day remarked how Carmen felt polished and looked good, but ultimately lacked substance. The performance was criticized as being little more than an attempted career boost for a group whose career probably wasn't destined for the long haul in the first place. Number 16, Red Hot Chili Peppers. As of writing, this iconic rock band has appeared twice on the show, once in 1992 and again in 2006. The former was significantly sloppier.
Sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner.
The band does what they can, but there's just no covering John Frusciante's slipshod and out-of-tune guitar playing. Frusciante was going through some major personal problems, suffering from substance use disorder, hating the fame, and isolating himself from the rest of the band.
Take me to the place I love. Take me all the way.
Just 3 months after their appearance on SNL, Frusciante would quit for the first time. This mini concert represents everything that was troubled within the band, with singer Anthony Kiedis believing that Frusciante intentionally sabotaged the performance just to mess with his friends. Whatever the reason, it was an unmitigated disaster. Number 15, Greta Van Fleet. 2019 was a great year for Michigan rock band Greta Van Fleet, as they broke out with their second EP, From the Fires, and won the Grammy for Best Rock Album. They were also the musical guests on the night of January 19th, playing Black Smoke Rising and You're the One. The latter performance is now legendary, having been relentlessly mocked and parodied on TikTok. It reeks of the 70s, down to the outfits, rock and roll sharing of the mic, ridiculous gesturing, and the zonked out looks of the band members. It's certainly unique, we'll give it that. Number 14, Marianne Faithfull.
I feel good. I feel good. No, I know I don't know. I feel good.
The 1991 biography of actress/singer Marianne Faithfull, titled As Years Go By, contains an interesting recollection of her infamous SNL appearance from 1980. Author Mark Hodkinson writes in his book how Faithfull had gone missing 3 hours prior to her SNL performance. Rehearsals the day prior had gone well, but Faithfull was eventually found intoxicated and under the influence of a dental anesthetic called croaking. The resulting live gig saw Faithfull's voice completely wrecked, devoid of producing much more than a helpless croak. The SNL department did their best to fix the levels, but it was no good. This was a disaster. Number 13, Mooneskin.
I'm begging. Woo!
It isn't all too unusual for artists who have made it big on reality shows or talent competitions to try their hand at gaining some SNL glory. Italy's Mooneskin did just that, appearing on Saturday Night Live after achieving success on both the X Factor and the Eurovision Song Contest. And to be fair, Mooneskin did their neo-glam rock shtick with a conviction born perhaps of a complete lack of self-awareness.
You're the wrong way talking together. I wanna be the beach hotel where we kill the air. Love the heart in the best way shit. You think you need a way you do kind of talk to me, but
It ultimately comes down to whether or not one digs the fact that Mooneskin did one of their own tunes and a cover of the Four Seasons. Was it enough of an introduction to the largely unaware SNL audience, or a cringy performance from a group that should have just gone away?
I wanna be a slave, I wanna be a master. I wanna make your heart beat round like roller coasters. I wanna be a good boy, I wanna be a gangster. 'Cause you could be the beauty and I could be the monster.
Number 12, DJ Khaled. This DJ and rapper closed out the show's 44th season on the night of May 18th, 2019, and he did it in style.
Hands in the sky like this!
He performed 5 songs through 2 medleys and honored the late Nipsey Hussle, who was killed shortly before the episode aired. He was also joined by some modern hip-hop and R&B legends, including SZA, Lil Wayne, and fittingly, John Legend. But many fans believed this was a case of style over substance, like DJ Khaled was using his clout to mask his lack of activity.
This DJ Khaled! This Meek Mill!
Indeed, DJ Khaled himself didn't really do anything but bounce around and interject with the odd statement. He's a hype man who's awkwardly hanging around and letting his guests do all the actual work.
Keep taking me higher and higher.
Number 11, MC Hammer. Few artists represent the early 90s quite like MC Hammer. The superstar pulled double duty on December 7th, 1991, both hosting the show and performing 3 songs.
I got sweat running all over my chest. I don't quit, no, I just press harder than I ever did before.
Unfortunately, none of them were any good, and weirdly enough, You Can't Touch This was completely absent from the set list. Even worse, 2 of the 3 songs, Adam's Groove and This Is the Way We Roll, were made specifically for the Addams Family movie. This represented the general shoulder-shrugging nature of the whole ordeal.
I'm thinking back to when I first got started. A lot of MCs, yo, they broken hearted.
Hammer's star was fading, and this obvious advertisement of a show seemed like a last-ditch effort to stay relevant. We love the Addams Family, but come on, when you get MC Hammer, you have to do You Can't Touch This.
This is where we roll, I'm rolling. This is where we roll, I'm rolling. I'm rolling.
Number 10, Deion Sanders.
You know, ever since I turned pro in 1989, when I signed the dotted line, it was strange. Most things changed for the better and for the worse.
We know what you might be thinking. Deion Sanders, the football player, he performed on SNL. Indeed. Neon Deion served as a host back in 1995, with Bon Jovi as the musical guest. Yet Sanders seemed to think this was also an appropriate place to showcase a couple of his own tunes, including one titled Must Be the Money.
Must be the money.
It's turning them on. Must be the money.
Must be the money.
You know what can go wrong.
The end results were about as successful as one might expect from an athlete guest host fresh off of winning the Super Bowl. Sanders was shooting a shot, which we can't knock, but we bet that you've never seen his rap album anywhere other than the cutout bin, right?
Come on, everybody, just do it. Now let me see you go through it. I'll put your left foot in and your right foot out. Now step over and do it.
Number 9, Troye Sivan. When Troye Sivan appeared on SNL in 2018, his performance of My split the room, or at least the Twitterverse.
Oh my, I die every night with you.
While Sivan won some new fans, or at least reaffirmed some old ones, others were not so kind. Commentary ranged from viewers not knowing or wanting to know who he was, to questioning exactly why he was so damn wet.
Let's stop running from us, running from us. Let's stop.
But these were the kinder comments. Others took his dancing to be a lame attempt at being sexy, others deemed him an Aaron Carter wannabe, and a dancing and singing lizard boy. Yikes.
Oh my, I die every night with you.
Number 8, Iggy Azalea featuring Me. Iggy nailed it here. If you're a fan of her music and brand, you were sure thrilled with her performance.
It's fat, you gotta have it, get my baby cool. Cake long, it's on the mat.
The trouble here is Mø, a Danish singer with a long list of collaborators. This was Mø's first appearance on American TV, and oh how it shows.
I'm out here with my friend. I'ma make you beg, I'ma make you beg.
From the moment she wanders out, the segment comes off like a scrapped sketch from an unfeatured player working through their 2 weeks' notice. She would later cite microphone latency issues as the source of her troubles, but that hardly explains her off dancing and 6th grader in a school play stage presence. Number 7, Chris Gaines. Who's Chris Gaines? He's the Australian-born, pre-emo late 90s rock star, of course, or in reality, a soul patch-wearing Garth Brooks in a Beatles wig. There's a lot to unravel here. As an artist, Gaines did have a Billboard Top 5 hit, making him a quasi-worthy guest. In the Gaines verse, however, he was huge. The The trouble is, while the character had a whole backstory and was ultimately intended to lead a feature film, that film was never made. The general public knew none of this and were instead baffled by a strange game of dress-up from the decade's top country artist. Number 6. Fear. Think all it takes to be punk is a couple of power chords and a Californianized British accent? Oh no, friend. Punk is a way of life. At least it was for Fear. Formed by Lee Ving just a few years prior, the band caught the attention of John Belushi, who attempted to get them to soundtrack his film Neighbors, only to see the idea shot down by studio brass. To make it up to them, Belushi petitioned to get them on SNL, despite no longer being a cast member. The result? A studio full of slam dancers, pumpkin guts, and $20,000 worth of damages. Number 5. The Replacements. Formerly the Impediments, until the band's rep caught up with them, the Replacements were known to like a song now and again between drinks. What a mess on your ladder of success. While under the influence, they once played the worst set ever staged at CBGB to an audience of talent scouts no less. But in 1986, fortune shone on the Mats when the Pointer Sisters canceled and musical director G.E. Smith invited them to SNL. Rehearsal went well, but the hours before the show were spent getting drunk with host Harry Dean Stanton, and their obvious state, clothes swapping, and an uncleared F-bomb were enough for Lorne Michaels to ban them then and there. Number 4. Kesha. She's reinvented herself since, but in 2010, Kesha arguably set the SNL benchmark for awful.
I'm talking pedicures on our toes, trying on all our clothes.
There are all kinds of bad floating around here, from her odd stage presence, which many speculated was due to alcohol use, and lame rapping. This was capped by Kesha asking,
Did anyone ever stop to think maybe we are the aliens?
But for Your Love Is My Drug, she doubled down on the weird and came out in glow paint. This, aside from being strange to look at, was objectively offensive to Indigenous peoples. The singing was arguably a little better, but still off-pitch at times. Number 3. Kanye West.
Had to run from you, I'm in love with you, but the vibe is wrong, and it haunted me.
On SNL, while promoting 808s and Heartbreak, the Louis Vuitton Don launched Into Love Lockdown, a track thought by many critics to be the highlight of the album, and a departure for West given that it featured him singing. But did it?
I'm not loving you way I wanted to. See, I wanna move, but can't escape from you.
For style rather than a lack of talent, West's singing voice for the song was processed via vocoder, a device that converts and musicalizes the human voice.
Somewhere far from in the danger zone. How many times did I tell you before it finally got through? You lose, yeah, you lose.
Live, however, this proved incredibly messy, with Kanye's voice cracking, the vocal effect coming through inconsistently, and the backups being cranked up sporadically to cover it. Number 2. Lana Del Rey. We've all gotten used to Lana Del Rey, but 2012 was a different time. A few years prior, she was Lizzie Grant, a budding songwriter and up-and-comer.
I was like, no, please, stay here. We don't need no money, we can make it all work.
Taking on the name Lana Del Rey, she found her first round of fame in 2011 via YouTube, and her star only climbed higher with her second album, Born to Die.
Whether you fail or fly, or shoot, at least you tried. But when you walk out that door.
However, that album was still weeks away when she appeared on SNL in January of 2012, an appearance that was instantly hated, perhaps due to a case of too much hype with too little proof and substance, or maybe because it was simply underwhelming.
Heaven is the place on earth with you. Tell me all the things you wanna do.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Ashlee Simpson. While it doesn't require as much talent as singing, lip syncing is also an art. You have to synchronize your lips to the words mostly, but you also have to really sell it, you know?
On a Monday, I am waiting. Tuesday, I am fading.
These, friends, are the basics of lip syncing. But it also helps if you're mouthing the right song. On stage for her second song, Autobiography, Simpson's disembodied voice began to sing first song, Pieces of Me, which prompted her band to switch tracks, and her to do a Mary Jig and Bolt.
I feel so bad my band started playing the wrong song, and I know what to do, so I thought I'd do a hoedown.
Initially blaming her band, Ashlee later said she opted not to sing due to her acid reflux. Is there an SNL musical performance that was so bad it felt good? Let us know in the comments. Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.